So let's talk about the culture of music. So we have some agreements and we have some disagreements on the culture of music, famously. So when it comes to the culture of music that is consumed in the Black community, obviously rap is at the top of the list. There's obviously a huge gap between the high forms of art that have been created by members of the Black community and the rap culture of today. I mean, it's a pretty broad range between Nat King Cole and Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington and, say, Cardi B, who's now, I guess, interviewing the former vice president of the United States. What do you make of rap culture? Because you have sort of a split opinion on rap culture a little bit. Like on the one hand, you seem to recognize some of the downsides of the messages being purveyed. On the other hand, you've suggested that there are some sort of differential messages in there that might be useful.
Right. So, I mean, there are definitely a minority of rappers who are rapping about things that are actually important. And I grew up listening to Jay-Z. I don't like Jay-Z anymore because of his politics, and I think he's being used and he's become a puppet. But growing up listening to his music actually did something different for me when I was, a hopeless, impoverished person listening to his music, and he talked about how he made his way out. He wasn't talking about, killing a bunch of people. He was talking about business, and his Black album, he really talks about how he would not allow an industry to use him, how he understood what his worth was. These things were actually important lessons about business. And it came in a lyrical form, and it was good, right? I would say Kanye West, he's never really written about like go out, grab a gat, and just kill people. But unfortunately today, that's the majority of what rap has become, right? And so I completely agree with your assessment about Cardi B. It is one of the biggest insults. If Black Americans are not insulted by the fact that Joe Biden, who has been hiding in his basement, for the entire year, made an appearance and came out because he was going to do an interview with Cardi B. Do we have nothing better to offer? I mean, this would be akin to Donald Trump saying, I'm going to give no interviews, but he came up and he decided to give an interview to Justin Bieber, right? I mean, Justin Bieber, I am sorry, I know you're a Christian man, I don't even want to put you in the same boat as Cardi B. But it would be absurd, right? White America would go, what is this? Why are you being interviewed by Justin Bieber? And it's because you're pandering, right? You're pandering. You look at Cardi B's Instagram, you see she has millions of followers, and you think, okay, this is an illiterate person, and if I appeal to this illiterate person and she does, like she literally did in the middle of this interview, and they think she's cool, she's hip just by sitting here and taking this interview, Black people will vote for me. It's basically saying, Black people, you are stupid, you are dumb, and you're so foolish. I mean, do you think, what if she just said in the middle of the interview, Joe Biden, can you name one Cardi B album? Joe Biden, do me a favor, just one Cardi B lyric. He couldn't do it. Of course he's not, because he's being handled and they're saying Black people like this person. This is what they're into. And so here you go, talk to her. Same thing with Hillary Clinton when she went on the Breakfast Club and she said she had hot sauce in her bag, right? She didn't know what Beyonce's song that came from. One of her handlers said, say this, right? Probably got the questions ahead of time. Say this. Say you keep hot sauce in your bag. Right now, Beyonce's song is trending and it's hot sauce in my bag swag. And she looked like a fish out of water and said it. It is demeaning. It is pandering. It is ridiculous, okay? And she asked pointedly ridiculous questions. I want lower taxes, but I want universal health care for all. She had no idea what she was doing. And yet both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden made the time to sit with her because they believe Black people are stupid. And Black people that thought, yay, that's a win. No, it's not a win. It shows you that they still believe that you are so stupid that they couldn't find many of the amazing intellectual Black people that we have in the world to sit down with and ask them tough questions. An interview with Condoleezza Rice, right? An interview with Larry Elder. Even if you want somebody that is a Democrat, that's fine. There are way more intellectual Black Democrats you could have sat down with, yet you chose an illiterate rapper, because that's what she is. She's illiterate.
Well, I mean, I would have paid money to hear Joe Biden's rendition of Wet Ass. As a popular rap artist myself, whose remix slaps significantly harder than the original, I can honestly say that Joe Biden's rendition, I would have paid good money for. So I need to ask you about the Kanye issue. So famously, we had a little bit of a tete-a-tete on Twitter when Kanye came out and he was supporting President Trump, and I said, live by the Kanye, die by the Kanye, which is mainly me saying, Kanye takes a lot of positions on a lot of different issues. And you got a little bit upset about that, it seemed, on Twitter. So what do you think is the proper relationship between celebrity and politics? Because I am a strict down the line. I think that celebrities have no place in politics unless they actually know what they are talking about on any sort of deep level. I understand the impact of celebrity. I understand, but I object to it.
Right.
But you have, I think, a more nuanced version of that. So what's your view on celebrity and politics?
Yeah, with Kanye, I think what I was upset with was that so many people were just dismissing him and calling him crazy. And it's just not fair. I mean, I think I like Kanye. Kanye's a friend. And Kanye is a person that is a billionaire. And I would not take someone, to be like, he's richer than both you and I sitting here combined, right? I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe you're a billionaire. And people keep taking him lightly, and it's been his entire life. Kanye was not coming out telling people how to vote. He never said vote for this person. He never said do this. He never said listen to me, follow me. He simply said I support the president, and I'm tired of people bullying me, telling me that I can't wear a MAGA hat. And that was such an important message, especially for Black Americans. And maybe I was emotional in my response because it is so hard. You try being a Black conservative amidst Black Lives Matter, right? And go out and say I support the president, and you will see how you get treated, right? It's easy. You get called racist. With us, it's ferocious. They want you gone. I mean, they will accuse you of anything. They want you gone. You get death threats. You get all of these horrible things. And here's a guy that's just saying, I'm no longer going to lie about who I support. Not if you don't support him, you're a racist. I mean, we know his wife is not a Trump supporter, despite the fact that she works with them. And I thought this is productive. It's a good thing for someone to say, I'm comfortable saying that I'm Black and I'm a conservative in the cultural realm, especially because we know most Black Americans have their eyes fixed culturally, that it just sent a huge signal that it's okay to break away from the hive mentality. Now, if Kanye was out there saying, I'd like to inform policy because I'm Kanye West, I'd like to go in, I will now be conducting the interviews, to sit down with candidates and make sure that what they're doing is great, I would have said, I have a problem with that, right? Because that's ridiculous to assume that because you're, a cultural figure, you somehow are now smart enough to be asking political questions is pointedly ridiculous. So that was the nuance. He wasn't doing anything that I found to be harmful. He just was saying, I support the president.
So I actually agree with that. I think that it's actually a very important thing that Kanye West put on a MAGA hat and basically said, you know what, it's fine, I'm allowed to wear a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
And as someone who's been called a Jewish Nazi for being a Republican,
right.
I certainly understand the perspective of being inside a minority group where it is considered verboten to be on a different side of the political aisle. So
right.
I'm very glad that happened. I mean, speaking of which, you talk about sort of policy influences. One of the areas in which Kanye and Kim actually did have a policy influence was on criminal justice reform. I know that you're an advocate also, I believe, of criminal justice reform.
Right.
So I had some difficulty with the criminal justice reform bill that the Trump administration pushed, mainly because I was not of the opinion the criminal justice system is inherently racist. I think there's a case to be made that we should cut back on the drug war because I think that there are a lot of people in jail for
ridiculous,
for silly crimes,
right.
Or crimes that at least they were in jail for too long for. But overall, I'm not of the opinion that people are being incarcerated for no reason, or that mass incarceration is a serious problem. So where are you on criminal justice reform?
Right.
And do you think that is an effective version of outreach to Black Americans?
I think you can. I don't think there's a dichotomy here. I think you can believe in criminal justice reform without, subscribing to the idea that Black people are being put into jail for no reason. I don't believe. I believe both. I do not believe that Black Americans are being put into prison for no reason. But I do believe that some of the harsher sentencing that happened, when Bill Clinton became president, 3 strikes you're out. Even if it's 3 small things, 3 strikes you're out were wrong, and a lot of people were still serving prison sentences because of that. So I think it's good to take a look at the criminal justice system. I don't think it's great, and I'm someone who grew up with uncles that were in and out of prison. I know for a fact when you get a kid when they're young and they're in the system, if you can help them get out, when they leave, they get $50 in a bus ticket, right? What do you expect someone who's been in prison for a year, you give them $50 in a bus ticket to do in their life, right? They usually go back to crime because they have nothing. And so their way of trying to get ahead is to steal, to rob, do these things. What I loved about what they were doing was creating these transition programs, which were so desperately needed, because you don't want somebody who's desperate dropped back into your community. You want somebody who goes, okay, we're gonna help you find a job, we're gonna help you get on your 2 feet, and that is what I loved and supported about the programming. I do not at all believe that Black Americans are being targeted by the criminal justice system at all. I'm actually staunchly against that. We commit more crimes.
Did you know that every like on this video creates one additional leftist tear gleaming in the sunshine? Don't ask me why. That's called science. To take advantage of this amazing opportunity, hit the like button.